Yes, people, it's your boy Ashmatic, Spurs Kings TV to the world. But yes, let's talk about Spurs' ball progression. Is Paulinho the problem? I want to know. Me personally, from the back, I don't think he is. I think he's a player that does have some limitations, but he is our Wilson Palacios. He's our Sandro. He's our Scott Parker, our Edgar Davids, the Wanyama type. So there's a time and place for a particular phase in the club's progression. I think that carefully, Thomas Frank thought about what player he needs. He looked at the profiles that he had at Brentford and he moved it on forward and looked at maybe a Paulinho type. And he's the one that's kind of helping us with our defensive side of things. And he did say he wanted to build on defensive structure first. And I think Paulinho is a big part of that. But I don't want to point the finger and say it's all Paulinho's fault. I think Thomas Frank is still learning and he needs to find a mix, a blend in terms of tactical flexibility, adaptability in particular games, how we can move through the different thirds or move up the pitch through what players we have, through their strengths, and maybe hiding some of their weaknesses. And I'm going to go straight to the tactics board right here. I'm not going to waffle on any longer. And I think when we were playing, we'd have often two centre backs in the build up, and sometimes Vicario would get involved. One would pull a little bit wider, one would stay close. And the idea is they would bounce two passes between each other, as you can see there, I'm moving them, and that would bait the press. So you'd see sometimes they would jump, and as they jump, they've taken a player out, and then we'd switch the pass out to the wide side, that being Mickey van der Ven, and then Spence would push higher up, and you'd see Xavi go inside a lot of the time. I felt that when we did have the ball, Vicario went long, and as a result, you'd see Bergval join the attack along with Spence and Xavi at times, and then Tell will pull across, giving us numerical superiority in that area. So that's my opinion on what we would do on the ball and how we would try to progress it. Because if you actually look at it, I've got West Ham, for example. This could be any team, by the way. It could be Bournemouth, West Ham. It could be Villarreal. We've got back four, but they're doing a 4-2-3-1. But basically, the middle is compact. So if you want to play through the middle, you're going to need players like Bergval to get on the ball and Sarr to get on the ball and be a little bit closer. I felt that Bergval was more of an attacking type of eight, and so was Sarr at times. And that's why you saw Paulinho by himself. Also, I thought that Xavi was sometimes dropping in here, dropping a little bit deeper, but more time he was dropping in the pockets to help with that progression. Sometimes we did see him drop in, and we wanted to see more of that to help Paulinho up because he didn't have much options other than maybe bouncing the pass back to Van der Ven or Spence dropping in here and him being an option. There wasn't really much. For Spar was a bit attacking as well. He would sometimes drop in, but as you can see, when you're in between and you're pressed, those type of players, it's not easy to find those passes from Sarr. I think also you'd see Paulinho in between. If it was a 4-4-2, you'd see the other team allow Spurs to build up with the back three, but then Paulinho would be in between two attackers. What would then be his option? We don't really associate Paulinho getting on a half turn and carrying the ball. Don't associate Paulinho getting on the ball and then fighting these higher attackers on the ball. So I felt that the best way to build up was not to risk it, or Thomas Frank probably thought that and thought maybe if I risk it higher up and we lose it there, then we win the second and third balls. And I think that's what I saw. Tell would sometimes try to drop in. Does he have the profile that the ball sticks to him? Not always the best option, in my opinion. He's not a person also, if he gets in the box, that he can, get on the end of crosses. If it's, let's say it's Spence, swaps Spence over Xavi, can Tell finish off high balls over if there's a packed box full of West Ham players, which it was at times. So these are things that we need to work on. Do we need Spence to get to the byline? We did see that at times. We did see Bergval get to the byline as well. We also saw Kudos get to the byline a lot. And because those chances were blocked, that it resulted in corners and set pieces. And you know what happened at the end of that? Literally. So I just think looking at the tactics board, looking at what West Ham, how they pressed, how they tried to sit in blocks, it was easier for us to literally risk it higher up. And I thought that Xavi as well, what he wanted him to do was drift and act as an extra midfielder, and be undetected and pull the fullback out of position. Because was the fullback going to mark Spence, or are they going to are they going to mark Xavi? Is the centre back going to get drawn out here and then allow Bergval to run in behind, which he did, and get in between the lines and score his goal? So there's a lot of nuance in those little moments, I felt. But I just want to bring up an actual scene from what happened. So you can see Vicario's on the ball and he's gone to risk it long. From minute one, by the way, this is minute one, 30 seconds into the game. He's gone long. Tell's passed it back to him. He's gone over the top. He's gone diagonal. They've actually won the ball. And you can see there's three Spurs players. You've got Bergval, Tell, and you've got Xavi. I've circled them there. And the players are trying to surround them. And you can see Fernandez, West Ham player, he wins the second ball. It goes out for a throw in. As it goes out for a throw in, you can see Bergval. That's what we're using him for. There's long limbs, power. He's 6'1", 6'2", and he's able to throw that ball into the box. And we're trying to win the second ball, get the knockdowns, and it actually results in a shot. So we end up shooting it, but it gets blocked. 2 minutes into the game, this is where you start to see our build up, our patterns of play from the back, because there's different phases of attack, and the defense is the first phase of attack. You can see Romero there passing it in. I've circled Paulinho, and as you can see, there's two players around him. Spence is looking at him. He could fire the ball into Paulinho, but is Paulinho going to get in a half turn and beat those two players? I don't think he's that type of profile. I'm not saying he can't do it, but I haven't seen him do it at Fulham, so I wouldn't expect him to do it now. He's not terribly technical. I don't think he is. I don't think he's terribly technically, but I just don't think he's a player that will consistently do that and risk it. He was more conservative and want to recycle the ball, and which is nothing wrong with that. So Spence, what he does, he looks up and he tries to go long. He tries to go down the channels, tries to look for Bergval. Also, where's Sarr? Look at the space in behind. In the space in behind Paulinho and behind Fernandez and Paquetá, there's a lot of space there, but no one's dropped in there, no Sana. But reason why is because they're all hot the pitch. You can see Bergval trying to make that run, but the delivery from Spence on his right foot's not able to find him, and they end up cleaning that ball up for West Ham. And that's what constantly happened in that particular half, and why it looked a bit stodgy in build up, and why we didn't really have a lot of chances in build up and open play. Here we are again. You can see Vicario, and I talked about baiting the press. Some of those players there, getting sucked in. You can see then Mickey van der Ven circled here. He actually drives with the ball before he makes that long pass. So he does actually carry, does use his weapon, his excellent carry of the ball, but he only carries it to that point of the pitch, and then he decides to go long. You can see that Spence hasn't come short. He's also going long. As he sees Mickey van der Ven making that run, he decides to go up, and you can see Bergval again high up the pitch, and you can see some of the other players. Tell's running up. You can see on the far right, you can see Kudos, and then you can see the run being made by Papa Matasar there as well. But yeah, the ball ends up not getting to its destination. I've circled those two players in Spence and Bergval because those were the players it meant to go for, and it didn't end up to them. It ends up to a West Ham player. Another scenario here, you see Vicario on the ball. It's just 4 minutes into it. They're trying to press us this time, and it's gone to the left once again. They're trying to press in a certain angle, force it down our left-hand side. As you can see, Mickey van der Ven overhits the ball. Xavi Simons this time's on the run, and he's not able to make that ball. It goes out for a goal kick. Another one, build up in 10 minutes. This time, we're trying something slightly different. Bergval's dropped into the deeper area. So is Sarr. They're closer to Paulinho. So maybe we're risking it in a different way. So Vicario's on the ball. You can see now Van der Ven, he's closest to him. And you're seeing Romero pull out wide. Porro's out wide. And interestingly as well, when the ball went to Porro, he tried to do the same thing to Kudos. So it wasn't just that we tried to play down the left the whole time. When it did go down the right-hand side, that also was blocked off. Anyway, The ball comes out, it goes into Mickey Van der Ven. You can see him running. As you can see him running, you can see Spence making that run once again. And he looks like he stops halfway. He looks like he wants to drop in. He does drop in a bit. That ball from Mickey Van der Ven, he tries to punch it into um, Lucas Bergval, but it doesn't quite get to him. And we end up losing possession. West Ham winning in that dangerous area. But we do end up winning possession back from them. So we win the second ball as we don't get it forward the first time. Here, 14 minutes in, we're in the same situation. We're trying to progress the ball. West Ham have had the better of the chances in open play. Here we see this time Xavi dropping in. Xavi Simons comes in, he drops in between two players here. You can see him dropping in. Bowen's there closest to him. And then you can also see Paqueta trying to close him. He actually gets the ball from Mickey Van der Ven, who trusts him, and he looks at the profile of the player, gets it under control, turns away from his player, and because he's able to get in the control, he's able to lay it off to Spence in space out wide. And as a result, he's able to use what he has in his quality is ball carrying, carries it up the pitch, and all of a sudden, Spurs look like they're in a transition. So the important takeaway for me is, as we've all known, Xavi Simons has to help us in build up, and he's actually used as an extra midfielder in that build up. And we can sometimes see him as maybe an inverted side left back if you want to see that positioning wise, where you see Spence slightly higher up as more as a wing back pushing on. But either way, Xavi is vital in terms of coming in to help us with build up play. 16 minutes into the game, and now I've marked Paulinho in between the two attackers once again. And now Romero's got his studs on the ball. As he does, he waits, he pauses on the ball, trying to draw them in. As he does, he looks for Paulinho. I've circled Sarr because he's the closest player to Paulinho. He hasn't got many options to pass and go through the middle. You don't always need to build through the middle thirds, but the option isn't there if we needed to do that. And it was only Sarr that was the available player there. As he's done, we can see that Sarr was marked in the previous slide. He's turned away from him because he is marked, and he's seen the free man. The free man on the wide side, holding the width, more importantly, is Spence, and that's where it goes. And that's the reason why he passes to him and to form a small triangle on that side. And then that's what we end up doing. But that was my overall arching thoughts on how we built up, what I saw, what I thought was our build up, some of the problems we faced, and some of the issues maybe we may see going forward. But I personally think you don't necessarily need to pass through the middle forwards to progress up the pitch. You can actually you can actually progress up the pitch through ball carrying, as I showed with Xavi, and you can also, and as we saw as well as fans, we saw Xavi Simons get on the ball, carry that ball up as well, and you can also do it through passing. So when we're looking for players, I don't think we should only or solely look on players that can just pass the ball. And that moves me on to another player that I think we should go for. There's been slight links, so I wanted to bring him up, and he goes by the name of Boadi. Boadi, he plays for Lille. I was speaking about him last season. I'm just going to bring up a thread, and we're going to speak about it real quick. So this thread is done by a guy called Jeremino Morgans. Big yourself up. And he's saying he is a 6'1" aerial ground jeweler, Rodri-esque architect, mobile, covers ground, press resistant, tidy passer, brilliant range, athletic ball winner and carrier, maturity beyond his age. Not my words, this is his work. And I'll give you my rendition on him as well. 6'1", taller with a lean build, 17 years old. That's one of my things I was watching for last season because he was 17. He started, I think, 11 games. He played 26 in total. So when I was watching him, I was cautious of judging him. And also where we were in our building stage, we didn't have a lot of senior players. So that's another reason why I didn't mention him. But I thought if we did want a ball playing centre midfielder that can play in the deeper regions, I thought he could be sufficient. Versatile midfielder who can play deeper. Also, to note, he's got Moroccan parents, and we know about Moroccans. We've been linked with a lot of Moroccans. They've got very similar skill sets in terms of technicality, able to hold on to the ball, dribble first type of players, and he is no different. So yeah, he can play deeper. He plays as a DM, but also as an eight, and he can also play as an attacking midfielder if needed. And he's also put generational talent. I think that's because of his age and what he's performing at the moment. Press resistant, able to evade opponents with excellent close control, spatial awareness, composure in tight spaces, ensures smooth build up from deeper areas. And again, when it comes to passing range, technically secure player, excels in both short and long passing, can play diagonals to switch play to either side's ability to spot advanced runners and deliver precise balls, through balls. So he's got creative traits inside him as well. Killer lines, breaking through balls, the vision to spot the runner, top notch. That's something that he's also spotted out. Ball carrying, that's something that he does show a lot. One of the standout qualities is his ability to drive through forward with the ball, whether through central areas or out wide. He progresses ball play effectively using the agility and top end speed to bypass opponents. More importantly, tackling and interception. Long legs provides excellent reach and tackles. Anticipation allows him to intercept passes, disrupt opponents' attacks, and then work rate works tirelessly to close down opponents and apply pressure off the ball. Athleticism, front foot nature, endurance, and an asset in defensive transitions, covers a lot of ground. Stamina he has beyond his age. Mature for his vision awareness. He's very mature, understands space and time, often releasing the ball at the perfect moment to create high quality chances. Composes in the box, can weave through defenders and create goal scoring chances. Areas to improve: physical development. He's quite lean, as you can see. Still needs to develop more strength to better handle physical challenges and enhance his ability in aerial challenges. Refines his positional discipline and his overall decision making. Still work in progress. But overall, his standout performances when watching him was against Real Madrid in the Champions League, and he continues to shine in League One, sorry. But he has a potential to grow and could be a long-term successor to a player like Rodri for Man City. So this is the reason why I was like, okay, someone else that agrees with me, has a similar, viewpoint of this particular player. And I thought, you know what, why not? So I was going to quickly look at him a little bit more for what I was going to do, my actual video on him. So as I said, he's right-footed, he's 6'1", still got time to grow. He's only 17. He plays for France under 21s. And it here shows that his transfer market value is 28 million euros. But I suspect he will be between 30 and 40 million euros. I think 40 million euros will get it done. But as I said, he can play in central midfield, but plays a lot in defensive midfield as well. So here he plays in a double pivot. So there you can see why he's quoted as a central midfielder, because as a double pivot, you play your role is to be both defensive and attacking. But yeah, here he is next to a player called Andre. And funny enough, he's keeping a player called Bentaleb. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. Bentaleb, he's keeping him at the side, who used to play for us, of course. That's his first heat map. The first heat map was from this season. Second heat map from last season. Last season, excuse me. And that's some of his stats. Progressive carries aren't the greatest. Progressive passes are terrible. Passes attempted, not really high. But again, he hasn't played that many games. But his successful take-ons are really standing out. Let me cut that volume out. I thought I deleted the volume. But yeah, just before I go any further, I'm just going to show some bits that I thought stood out for me as a player. As you can see here, he is able to evade pressure when getting the ball on a half turn, turns away, and then finds a player out wide. There he is picking up the ball, picks it into the midfield, and he's able to evade pressure, spatial awareness, good feet, fast feet as well, quick-minded, quick-footed, little nutmeg, plays the ball there on the half turn, press resistant, is able to carry up the pitch. And this is what I mean. You don't always need a player to pass through the thirds if they're press resistant, if they're able to turn and find players for the reverse pass there. Here he is slicing the ball with Travella to find a player. Here he is doing a little cut back. Again, he's got the vision awareness and he's quite patient. He's not rushed or panicked, and he's able to dribble out of those positions and help with those attacking returns. Here he is, good little touch around the player. Here he is using some of his ball carrying, his dribbling to beat one or two players. There he's surrounded by players, but turns out of pressure, uses the inside foot, steps on it, trods on the ball, uses the outside of his boot, turns away from pressure. Here he is for the French under 21s. He's played for all levels, under 16, 17, 18, and now he's under 21s. Here he is evading pressure again, and I could see him playing with a player like Tuchemeni in the French current squad. Here he is again in wide areas, tight areas, coming out from the pressure, turning away, using his body as well very well, dropping his shoulder, but shielding it with his body, using what he has here. There he is on the floor. Here is his interceptions, his tackles, reading of the game, recovery runs, physicality, challenges where he's sliding on the floor, helping his teammates, defensively sound, aerial ability, winning those headers, getting that ball, using recovery pace to get back there again, blocking passes, intercepting, reading stuff there with another header, slide tackle, aggressive and tenacious in nature, using his long limbs to intercept balls. There he is again in the right place, right time, so he's able to read the game, know where the pass is going. There he steps in, intercepts in. So it shows that he has a real good eye and good football brain to know where to be and help his teammates out. There he is blocking across, getting across the pitch, using his body as well, and just reading the game superbly. But that's just how I see him. I'm not here to convince anyone. He is 17 years old. It is a risk, but I just thought that's a player that we do now have experience in, Paulinho. Could he be brought in January to learn, or just have another experienced player alongside him and then mature into one of our top players? He's played at Champions League at the moment. He's played at Champions League level last season. So he has got that experience. League On is a physical league, and Danso said it. He said it's more physical than the German league, and we're seeing at the moment some of the German exports do quite well. And obviously, Javi's coming from that German league, but Danso said it himself. He played in both leagues. French league's more physical. So, say what you want about that Boadi. One to watch, whether he comes to us or not. I just think he's a player that could help us progress out of those defensive thirds. I was going to talk about another player called Kevin. I'm so glad, Fulham went for him. I want us to hijack him. But at the same time, I was a bit nervous, just like I was about this guy, about talking about him, because I wanted to see him perform in the Premiership first, which means you have to pay a little bit more or a lot more in some cases, depending on the contract. But Kevin is a player to look out for. He is one that's 22 years old, similar age to a certain Man City player that we're linked with, Savio. So I thought this guy looks like a Saka, but on the left. Like he just can go on the outside, inside shots. I'm very tempted to do him. And you know what? The video should be over, but I just want to bring him up because I think he's that good. I'm gonna talk about this guy called Kevin. I think he's a top talent. Let's look at him real quick, and then I will end this video. But I can't get enough of this guy. He's at Fulham. I know he's not our player, but this is a player I think's got immense talent, and I think he will go on to do stuff. Left wing, of course, came from Shakhtar Donetsk. We didn't really have a good relationship with them, so I wasn't happy. I wasn't too mad that he went over to Fulham first. 10 goal contributions last season. Not bad. Here he is on that left-hand side in a 4-1-4-1. There's his heat map, that's a cut inside. And those are his stats. His stats just show it all. Obviously, progressive passes aren't really there, but carries, take-ons, touches in the box, passes received, shot goal creation actions, non-penalty goals, and assist goals, all in the right place. But yeah, I'm just going to show it a little bit deeper. Here he is, real quick. Gets the ball and is inside on his weaker foot, and then strong foot, he's able to finish, cuts inside here, boom, right foot. So if we can't get Savia, I'm just saying, this is one to look out for. And this is what I saw when he came on for Fulham for half a match. Not even half a match. He came on 60th minute, and he was doing similar actions. He was getting onto the ball. He was getting, here he is, the near post finish, first time out his foot, top corner, side foot, great finish. It shows a different variety of finishes as well. It's not just in-step finishes, using his weaker foot finish there. There he is on the end, reading the game, having that instinct, knowing where to be. shot creation actions. This is what's more impressive. The through balls as well. Here he is able to cut onto his right foot. Again, goes around the keeper, finds his teammate, stands his man up, then goes past him, gets on the inside this time, and then whips them across and hitting a diagonal cross, and then they're able to finish it, picks up the ball, hits that little cross from outside the box, beats his man for pace. And I saw this time and time again. When I saw it in the Premiership, I was like, I knew I had something with this guy. Again, shows his pace and his ability to get in the outside, whip it in. And it's about that dual ability. Can we have a player that is dangerous on the outside and the inside, just like Kudos? But here he is in those pockets, quick feet. He's got a bit of trickery about him. See him juggling the ball. It's the audacity as well. Look at him going on the outside again, standing his man, slowing it down. Look at the little flick, trickery, a bit of flair. Steps on the ball, goes inside, nutmegs him, goes on the outside. Tricks is a quick feet. I like how he draws the player in and then he takes him out and goes around him. I like how he takes it from one side onto his weak foot and then uses his stronger foot. First touch, immaculate as well. Little step over, comes inside, puts it through his legs, does a little step over and is able to do that. He's just an ultra Brazilian, old school William. You know what I'm saying? That's what I get. Old school William vibes here. There he is on his right foot, uses his weaker foot there to carry on the outside. So he's able to carry on the outside, little 360 Maradona pirouette, sorry. And then he's able to get the ball, first time touch, go on the outside, cut inside. I like the chops as well. When you're able to chop that ball, you know you've got a real player in your hand. Steps on the ball, rolls it across the studs, gets a little cucurette, left foot, right foot, goes to the byline, chops it, backs it in. And he backs himself each time to use his pace, step over, step across. And this is a player I look forward to kind of seeing a little bit more. But I'm not going to talk about him no more. That's me done. Big up. Make sure if you do like these videos, you like, you share, and you do subscribe. Spurs Kings TV to the world.